Today we're witnessing a very significant rise of the operational presence of a range of non-traditional actors who perhaps have been involved in humanitarian action for a long time, but they are increasingly becoming actors on the global stage. That includes, a range of non-Western donors or regional organizations that are shaping up to be humanitarian respondents or setting up humanitarian departments. The diaspora is, taking a very strong role in a range of contexts and responding to crisis, private sector, the military, social networks, a large range of actors that have always been at the periphery of the system but are increasingly responding with a stronger capacity on the ground. And this is accompanied at the same time by a very strong anti-Western backlash and a reassertion of state sovereignty, which means that we're seeing a large number of no-go areas for traditional humanitarian providers. And it, leading at the same time to seeing Southern actors with, left with the primary responsibility for responding in an increasing range of contexts. I think this presence of so-called non-traditional actors is at the same time a challenge and an opportunity. I think it is a challenge because of the proliferation of the range of actors with which the more traditional system is called to coordinate, and the different traditions and value structures that have informed different forms of humanitarian action. But at the same time, it presents an opportunity to refocus the way in which we respond in a way that is more inclusive and effective, and really try and embrace a diversity that on the ground can actually lead to responding to crisis in a way that is more in tune with local cultures and mechanisms. But it will entail really rethinking the partnerships and the way in which we respond, because we have partnerships, of course, with these actors now, but I think they are shaped by a very strong asymmetry of power between traditional Western organizations and local and emerging forms of responsibility on the ground. If we're able to reshape them meaningfully in develop genuine partnerships, then that can lead to more inclusive and effective responses. Well, I think we live in an increasing globalized world, and in 10 years' time, this globalization will be all the more apparent. And this means there will be, increasingly less space for a humanitarian sector that is so profoundly self-referential. I think in 10 years' time, we'll see a lot more scrutiny on the way in which we operate. We'll see states, but also communities that will increasingly judge humanitarian providers for the way in which they respond and choose possibly who will be allowed to respond to a crisis or not, also on the basis of our performance in this respect, on our accountability. It's not completely far-fetched to think but there's a rating system of humanitarian providers in which we'll be judged and scored depending on how we respond. I mean, we're already seeing a lot of this feedback through a large range of different media, and things like the TV series in Kenya that pretty much takes the mickey out of Western organizations. They operate in the Kenyan context, I think, are a sign of things to come. I think it's really an important role to play. What's happening in a number of contexts is really a breakdown of trust between the communities that receive assistance and a number of humanitarian providers, refocusing on accountability and shared principles is very important, and Sphere can play an important role, but only if it really makes a conscious effort to become truly global, starting from its governance, from the way in which it operates. Of course, Sphere is present in so many contexts and must try to make sure that the standards and the charter are relevant and understood by a large number of players, but it's still seen as pretty much a Western device, or Western, if you want to construct. I think it needs to think how it can help this more collective buy-in into humanitarian principles, and perhaps shared principles of action that can allow for a multiplicity of different models of response, but at the heart have a common framework. It's a role that Sphere can definitely play, and in 10 years' time, could be central to this, but it needs to reshape the way in which it operates now.